Thunder cracked through the night like a whip. Rain beat hard on the thatched roof, and the wind screamed through the cracks of the mud hut. Inside, the flicker of a single lantern painted shadows on the wall. Young Timi sat on the cold floor, eyes wide with fear, his small hands clutching a rough blanket. "Grandpa! Will the storm break the house?" he asked, his voice almost swallowed by the wind. Old Papa James, sitting cross-legged on a woven mat, looked up slowly. His face was carved with deep lines, his eyes dark pools of memory. He watched the fire dancing in the clay stove before answering, "This storm, no. But there was a time, long ago, when a storm far worse came, not with wind or rain, but with fire, fear, and a test of patience." Timi's eyes grew even wider. "Do you want to hear about it?" Papa James asked, leaning in. The boy nodded slowly. "Good," the old man whispered, "because this is not a tale told for fun. It's a tale told so you learn. So you remember. Now listen closely, my son, and do not interrupt." Long ago, in the quiet village of Prime, there was a boy named Jerry. He was no warrior. He did not run fast or lift heavy stones. But he had something in him, a deep, burning fire of wanting. Wanting to be more, to do more, to matter. His father was the village potter, a patient man whose hands were always covered in clay. He used to say, "A pot must turn slowly in the fire, or it will crack when the water touches it." But Jerry had no love for clay. He wanted speed. He wanted now. He often ran to the edge of the village and stared at the mountains, wondering what was on the other side. People said dangerous things lived out there, wild animals, spirits, even a creature called Lambambam, the waiting fire. But Jerry didn't believe in old stories. He believed in action. One day, after a quarrel with his father, Jerry left the house before dawn and didn't return for 3 days. When he came back, he was bruised. Muddy, but smiling. He had crossed the river, entered the forbidden forest, and found a strange object, an old iron box sealed shut with a single black cord. "What is this?" His father asked, shocked. "I don't know," Jerry said, "but it's mine now." The elders gathered. They murmured. They warned him, "Don't open it," said Elder Simon, who was nearly 100 years old. "That is no ordinary box. That is from the time of the ancients. It carries fire." "Then I'll use it," Jerry said, chest puffed. "If there's fire, I'll tame it." His father begged him. "My son, listen. The world doesn't fear fire because it burns. It fears fire because it waits, it watches your heart before it chooses to burn you." But Jerry had already made up his mind. That night, he opened the box. At first, nothing happened. The box sat there, silent. Empty, but 3 days later, small things began to go wrong. Chickens went missing. Water turned bitter, a strange heat began to rise from the ground, and at night, villagers saw a flicker of orange light deep in the forest, like a fire dancing just out of reach. Then came the dreams. One by one, villagers complained of seeing the same thing in their sleep, a tall, dark figure with eyes like burning coal. It stood at the foot of their beds and whispered, "Patience is the only shield." Jerry laughed when he heard the stories. "They're just afraid of shadows," he told his friends. "There's no curse. No fire. Nothing I can't handle." But the fire was waiting. One night, a woman named Tina ran screaming into the village square. Her hut had burned to ash without a spark. No lightning. No candle. Just fire out of nothing. She said she saw him, the figure from the dreams, standing inside the flames, unmoved, staring at her with empty eyes. Panic swept the village. People blamed Jerry. Some begged the priest to cleanse the land. Others packed their things and left. Jerry's father stood by him. "My son, He said softly, "You've woken something that does not forgive quickly. To fight it, you must do what you've never done before, you must wait." "Wait?" Jerry spat. "You want me to sit here while the fire eats everything?" "No," his father replied, looking into the boy's furious eyes. "I want you to learn that true power is not in rushing, but in understanding the moment. The fire has a heart, and it waits for yours to beat out of rhythm." That night, Jerry went back to the iron box. It was glowing. In the middle of the village, Jerry stood with the box before the shrine of the ancestors. He dropped to his knees and cried out, "Spirit, I opened your box. I brought this upon us. What must I do to end it?" The flames leapt from the box, but did not burn him. They circled him like a snake, flickering, hissing. Then a voice came, not from the box, but from the air around him. "You opened me because you could not wait. Now, wait. Sit here. Do not speak. Do not sleep. Do not move. For 7 days, let your fire burn quietly. Only then will I go." And so Jerry began his waiting. The villagers watched, some from far, afraid to come near. Rain fell, and he stayed. Sun scorched his back, and he stayed. Hunger twisted his belly, but he stayed. On the 4th day, he fainted, but when he woke, he did not rise. He sat again, eyes forward, breath slow. Children asked, "Why doesn't he move?" The old priest replied, "Because for the first time in his life, Jerry is fighting, not with hands, but with patience." On the 7th night, the fire came. It rose like a wave, taller than the trees, hotter than any sun. It rushed toward the village, roaring, alive. Mothers clutched their children. Men held spears they knew were useless, but Jerry sat still. The fire stopped just before him, its edges curling like fingers, hungry to touch. The same voice echoed again, "Do you fear me now?" Jerry, eyes calm, said only, "I understand you now." There was silence, then the fire collapsed. It folded in on itself and vanished, leaving only a pile of ash where the box once lay. Jerry stood up, weak, trembling, but alive. From that day, he was no longer just a boy. He became a man not of speed, but of wisdom. He became the one people went to when patience was needed. And every year, when the sky burned red during the Harmattan, the villagers would gather and tell the story of the fire that waited, and the boy who finally waited with it. The storm outside began to calm. Timi blinked. Did Jerry really sit there for 7 days, Grandpa?" Papa James smiled faintly. "Yes." "And do you know who told me that story?" "Who?" The boy whispered, "My own grandfather, whose name was Jerry." Timmy's jaw dropped. Grandpa James reached for the blanket, pulled it tighter around his grandson's shoulders. "Now you see, Timi, patience is not weakness. It is fire under control. And fire, my son, fire waits for no fool." The lantern flickered once more, and the storm passed.